Hey guys, Cameron, and this is basically going to be a caught-up reviews of 3 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I reviewed the show in 3 weeks. Let me explain. I meant to review Paradise Lost a while ago. I don't know what actually happened. I meant to review it. I never did. Then I thought, all right, I'll catch up that week. I never did. Then I thought last week I catch up on it. I still never did. And once again, this week, I want to be able to watch tonight's episode. I know something huge is happening tonight, and I'm pretty sure a character's going to die, and because of that, I figured it would only make sense for me to catch up on the 3 episodes that I missed. I don't know what ended up happening. I ended up falling behind, but with that said, we have 3 episodes to talk about. There's a lot that happened in these 3 episodes, especially the second one I'm going to talk about. There's a lot that happened in that one, but let's just get into all 3 of these episodes, because I definitely do want to talk about them. Overall, and these are episodes, of course, 16 to 18. There's a lot to say about these now. Overall, I was very impressed with all 3 of these episodes. I will say last week's, I think, was the weakest, but it was mainly a place-setting episode. But let's just get into the first episode, Paradise Lost, because I really do want to talk about that, which really was focused on Malik, why Malik is the way he is, things about him, why he is the founder of Hydra, things like that. Well, we find out right away that his father was a true believer, and that his father, Kurt, was a true believer, and that he'll be missed, and basically Malik wanted to take over his work, and he wanted him and his brother Nathaniel to continue his father's work, and Nathaniel thinks that they're going to have to meet with Daniel Whitehall, as we know, and Malik's not interested in what Daniel wants. He just doesn't, he kind of just wants to do his own thing, but Nathaniel warns that Daniel's still powerful, and he insists on staying, but Nathaniel warns that Daniel's people aren't asking, and eventually they do arrive at Daniel's cell. They talk about how they got to talk before their upcoming stone ceremony, that they must choose a path forward with Hydra. Daniel believes that they should choose his path, and that's the best place to go, but you can tell that Malik really doesn't see things that way. He has a different agenda, and Gideon says that being chosen as a traveler is an honor, and that they should really love it, but Malik doesn't want to hear it. He wants to leave, and he actually ends up betraying his brother. He does. He actually ends up betraying him because Nathaniel and him just are on very different paths. That's why we haven't seen Nathaniel. That's why Malik hasn't really talked about him, and it was a very good scene. I really did like seeing that, and we do hear some stuff about Malik and Nathaniel in this episode, but I thought it was very effective. It really made us realize why Malik is the way he is, why Malik wants to take over Hydra. That's his father's destiny, and I definitely did like seeing it. But also, as we know, Hive is trying to make Malik stronger. He's trying to make Malik stronger. He's trying to make him a more aggressive leader, and you definitely see that here. And also, his daughter Stephanie is in the picture in this episode. We see she's waiting for him. He says they need to talk. Stephanie says she wasn't expecting their guest Hive. She right away takes a liking to Hive, and Malik's surprised to see that Hive is there. It seems like wherever he goes, he just can't get away from Hive. Hive seems to basically be in his direction, and Stephanie explains that Hive arrived earlier, asked her to gather in her circle, and you can tell that Malik's a bit peeved that Hive is kind of doing all this work for him. He kind of wants to do it on his own. We know that Malik used to be the director, and clearly, it seems like Hive definitely wants to take over that position, and it's not a huge problem in this episode, but it is a huge problem in the next episode, which we'll get into. But basically, Stephanie eventually asks Malik, what's going on. He says he had a vision of his death in the future. Of course, the whole situation with Charlie showing him his death and everything, this really kind of scared Malik, and of course, him being torn apart from the inside, and Stephanie suggests that he talk to Hive about it, because he wants to know really how this is going to happen, how he's going to be torn apart, because he knows that's going to happen, and Gideon realizes that it won't do any good, because Hive was in fact his killer, and we know that, again, once that future is set in stone, you can't do anything about it. That is the future. You can't change it, and that really, I like the way that continued to have an effect in this episode, because obviously a lot of characters are still reeling from that. We definitely do see that here, and Stephanie insists, that Hive's not going to hurt him, but Malik really isn't convinced. He's really convinced that Hive is not to be trusted, and that Hive really is dangerous, and the fact that Hive sent Gaia away, gathered the inner circle behind Malik's back, he really doesn't trust him. He thinks that he needs to kill Malik to demonstrate his power, and he really thinks that's what's going on, but I like that Stephanie's trying to keep him encouraged. I think Stephanie kind of knows that Hive is dangerous, but she is trying to keep him, she's trying to be very encouraging here, and Hive is admiring the flowers of the pond when Malik approaches him, and the Inhuman says that Stephanie is a true believer and will play a key role in what is to come, and Malik reminds Hive that he was the one who found him, and that he brought him home and asked what he remembers of his previous hosts, and Hive avoids the question completely and says that it will all be made clear at the Inner Circle meeting that night, and you can just tell that he is being very shady. There's something going on here. We don't know what it's about, but, Stephanie tells Malik that the others are anxious to know why they're there, and she figures that he would tell them that it's time to man up, just like he told her many years ago, and Malik calls the meeting to order, says that they are there to celebrate. They finally have brought the Hydra god back from exile, and Hive comes in, says that his exile is over, and when one man challenges Hive, Hive says that all the travelers have finally returned thanks to the Malik family, and he says that the Inner Circle will all get what they deserve, reveal his true face, and reveals his true face, which was terrifying, let me just say. And with that, Hive transforms to an alien form to reveal the truth, and you can just tell that he really wants to take that power from Malik, and I think Malik realizes that, and Malik obviously, he can tell that he does want that power. So, basically, I like that scene. I really do like this scene between Malik and Stephanie when he thanks her for saying, what it means to be a Malik. It's a really nice scene. I definitely really did enjoy that. And Stephanie sees that her father's kind of upset, though, and Malik assures her that he isn't questioning Hive anymore, and they hug before he leaves. And he really seems like he can trust Hive, because he feels like he really has inspired Hive, and he's really helped him out. And we see, then he goes to the library, Hive and Stephanie come in, Hive holds up the scratched stone, the Inhuman says that he invited Stephanie there, and she deserves to know the truth, and Malik used the scratched stone to make sure that he was never chosen as the Traveler, and Hive wonders if Gideon did to save his life, and basically Malik insists that he really did care about Nathaniel, that he really did love him, but again, him and Nathaniel just didn't see eye to eye, and that's why he had to betray him, which I think is very interesting. And the way that kind of goes with Hive and Malik now, it's very similar with what ends up happening there, which we'll get into, and Stephanie can see that Malik eventually realizes that Malik did in fact lie to her, because she did not know, about what was going on between Malik and Gideon, and he even insists that he carried on the tradition and gave everything so that Nathaniel could return. That was the whole reason he did this, because he realizes that Nathaniel is still alive in Hive's memories. Even though he's not alive physically, he is alive in Hive's memories, which means he could bring him back, and Hive says that Malik was selfish and got it from his father, but Malik says that he'll die, but if he needs to, but not as a coward, and basically realizes that he's gonna die. He accepts his fate that he's gonna die, he knows it's gonna happen, and there's really no way of getting out of it, and Hive says that, it needs to be right, and however he says that he needs a Malik by his side, kisses Stephanie, he releases organisms into her mouth, killing her, and I don't know, killing Stephanie, I get what he had to do, that he now understands sacrifice, and that he needs to sacrifice people just to be in charge and to be more empowered, but that really shows how selfish Malik really is. I mean, his choices over his own daughters, I mean, that really was crazy, but I like the dynamic there. I was kind of upset that it ended the way it did, and Hive then approaches Malik in a study, tells him that Gyara captured several S.H.I.E.L.D. prisoners. He says that sacrifice is never easy, but they have balanced the scales, and Malik has nothing else to fear, and Hive echoes Nathaniel's words, and that they will be together till the end, and basically gives Malik this hope that he is in fact going to see Nathaniel again. So that was by far the best stuff in the episode. I really enjoyed everything they did with Malik. I think it was very interesting. I thought they really made him an interesting character here, and really showed that he's not just some angry director that everyone seems to think he is, because I've heard a lot of people saying that, and we know that definitely is not exactly what's going on. And meanwhile, with Coulson now knows what's going on with Hive. He's seen the video image of Hive, and he knows that this is not Ward. And basically, Melinda confirms right away that Coulson did kill Grant, and that this is not Ward. This is definitely not Ward that he's seeing. This is in fact Hive, and Coulson offers his condolences on Andrew's death. Melinda refuses to discuss it. She knows that Coulson enjoyed killing and tells him that she would have made the same choice, and she hopes she has a chance to kill Ward as well, because as we know, her and Ward did have something, and she wants to kill him for it. And Coulson figures that Transia is something that basically Malik needs, and he insists that Hive isn't, Ward, and Fitz says that he saw Ward die, he knows that this isn't Ward, and basically right away they know that Ward is definitely not as powerful as Hive really was. I mean, Ward was human, he didn't have the advanced skills and the powers that Hive does, and right away they can tell that this definitely is not Hive. So, basically, the rest of this episode is them basically trying to figure out how to stop Hive. They don't really know how that's going to work. We can see that Daisy and Lincoln kind of go on this side mission where they meet this guy, James, who is an Inhuman, but he never really had any powers, and instead he kind of gives them weapons and advice, and I definitely really did enjoy seeing that. And he also didn't know, I like some of the stuff they did with his character, the fact that he didn't know that Jiang was dead, the fact that he didn't realize that Lincoln was working with them and was under Terrigenesis. I mean, it really does show, what about the other Inhumans that we haven't seen yet? And I think it's a very good scene. I definitely really did enjoy that. I thought there was some really good stuff there. But then things really do get crazy in this episode. We see Gaera Yu tries to use his powers in the model door. Fitz comes in just as Gaera priest the doors open, knocks out the guard. And Gaera pretty much, I mean, single-handedly ruins a lot of things for them. We see he gets the controller. Melinda says he's not getting the plane without a flight. He telekinetically grabs control, sends a Zephyr plummeting toward the ground. A doorway opens. Gaera lands the Zephyr, and Melinda contacts Daisy, tries to warn her, but Gaera knocks her out. And at the Quinjet, basically, Daisy realizes that they're not going to get out of this the way they want to. Everyone really is in danger, that, basically Hydra's corrupting everything, that the best thing to do is to send in the Secret Warriors, even though she knows that she disbanded the Secret Warriors a while ago and said they don't need them and that she didn't want them. Now she's realizing that they do need them. They need their advanced abilities, and that really, because, of course, they're facing Gaera, who has these advanced powers, and the only person that could probably take them down is the Secret Warriors, and that's what they need to do. I thought that was a great thing to see, and that's something that was great about the next episode, the team, which out of the three is the strongest episode, is definitely the strongest episode, and in my opinion, definitely, I think one of the best episodes of the season, maybe the best episode of the season, I don't know, probably the best episode of the season. This episode really was incredible, what we saw here. There was a lot of really good stuff here. Of course, Daisy and Lincoln, they end up getting Elena, so that's pretty much everything that happens in Paradise Lost. Now let's get back into the team, which there is a lot to talk about in this episode. A lot of stuff happened here. Daisy and Lincoln, they pretty much recruit Elena and Joey very quickly, actually. They recruit them very quickly. We see Joey's S.H.I.E.L.D. agent goes off, and he says that he'll have to get a rain check, and they end up saving everyone pretty much very quickly. They save everyone. But the way this episode was moving so fast, you could tell that they're building up to something more, because it just seems like things are going fast, the way that they're able to save everyone. Pretty much you think, everything seems to be okay. And I love seeing the Secret Warriors in action. I thought that was awesome to watch. Some of the best stuff we had this season, I think, was some of the really cool action we got here. I got kind of a Mission Impossible vibe, or even an Avengers vibe, and I really did like, not quite an Avengers vibe, but I really like what we got here. I thought it was really cool, and I think they all worked really well together. I like that Elena and Joey, the bond that they have, the fact that Joey can speak Spanish, and that she's trying to learn how to speak English. I did like seeing. I think that they did make these two very interesting characters, and like I said before, I really liked Elena when she was introduced, so I'm glad we saw her back here, because I really thought she was going to be a one-episode, a one-off, and she wasn't. We do see her again this episode, which I definitely love seeing, and I think we are going to see her again before the season's over, without a doubt. But throughout this entire episode, you can tell that Hive has something up his sleeve. Hive really feels that they're basically... We see the Zephyr take off. Gaera says that they have achieved nothing, and you can tell that Gaera is very much on his side, and Malik kind of seems to be just on the outside of it. Like, he knows that obviously Hive and Gaera have something up, and he's okay with that. Like, he understands sacrifices, and Hive tells him that now they basically have one on the inside, and basically there's somebody on S.H.I.E.L.D. that is a traitor, and that is betraying them, and we don't really know who that's going to be. But Coulson wants to try to make a deal with Malik here, because he's the one that thinks Malik is behind this, which in some ways he is, but in a lot of things Malik is not controlling. I mean, he knows some of the stuff that's going on with Hive, but he also doesn't. And the scene where they try to make a deal, basically, he says that he hadn't decided what to do with him since he killed Rosalind. He asked for the creatures possessing Ward's body, and basically Malik and talks about how this daughter, Stephanie, dealt with a horse, and he thought that he could control Hive, and tells Coulson that Hive killed Stephanie. Right off the bat, he says that, and that basically Hive did in fact kill Stephanie. And we know that basically Malik made Hive kill Stephanie, and he realized that he didn't make sacrifices, so he's really trying to tell this sob story to Coulson, make him feel bad, when in reality, we know that he let Hive kill Stephanie. Like, he totally understood the whole idea of sacrifices and things like that, but he really did think, I think he genuinely thought he could neutralize Hive, but we know in reality that Hive is really just making Malik stronger, and Malik really has something against Coulson, so the scene between them is really good, because you can tell that Malik is outright not telling the truth to Coulson, and he does talk about how he has doubts of Hive and everything, but you know it's not true. You know that deep down, Malik doesn't really trust Hive, because he knows that Hive eventually is going to kill him, but he also understands the idea of sacrifice and that he has to make those sacrifices. It's a very interesting scene the way this was done. I definitely really did like seeing that. But basically, he also points out that there were 4 S.H.I.E.L.D. Inhumans in the base, and advises Coulson to stop trusting them, because they are definitely one is going to betray them, and we don't know who that's going to be. I was thinking Lincoln was going to be the one to do it. It just seemed like it would make sense. Lincoln's kind of fell out of place this season, make him more interesting by getting him on Hydra's side. But then we get to the most interesting part of this episode, because then we find out stuff that's very interesting about Hive, which I definitely really love, because like I said, most of this episode is seeing the Secret Warriors in action, trying to find a way to neutralize Hydra, trying to help the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and everything. It was a very good scene. I like the bonding that Mac had as well, but eventually things really do get crazy now, because Coulson realizes that the Inhumans can't really be trusted right now. They need to send them back, they need to send them away, and basically Elaine ends up getting injured. Lincoln wonders how it happened. She doesn't remember. Joey says he wants to leave, points out that Daisy was the one who wanted Malik dead, and Lincoln agrees with Joey, and Daisy hesitates, saying that they're supposed to be a team. Elena says the team is sick, and Joey tries to leave. Lincoln stops him. Elena's ready to fight Daisy and Lincoln, and Daisy agrees with Joey, saying that they have to figure it out on their own terms, and basically Lincoln doesn't want to let an infected person escape, and Daisy suggests that they use one of the old elevators to get out, and the others reluctantly agree, because they know that one of them here is infected, and that they are in fact secretly, they've been brainwashed, and that they're working with Hydra. Basically, they don't know who it is, but they just don't trust them. And it's a very interesting scene, and that scene where Coulson basically tells Daisy, it's a very good scene, that she basically has to split her team apart, that he doesn't want to have to do this, but the best thing to do might be to put her team in quarantine, even though they are a very strong team. They just can't really be trusted right now, knowing that this is going on, knowing that there's Transia and everything, and knowing what Hive can do. They can't really do that, and Hive destroyed their trust completely, and one of them in that team they can't trust. And it's a very powerful scene. You see basically she insists that S.H.I.E.L.D. can't hold them. Lincoln says they want S.H.I.E.L.D. to hold them, and wonders basically what's going on, because Daisy then visits S.H.I.E.L.D., visits Lincoln. It's a very interesting scene. She talks to him through the quarantine window. He insists that he didn't betray the team, and Daisy says that she believes him, because again, they know one person on this team is not to be trusted, and basically we know it's not Lincoln, and she wants to leave him, but Lincoln wants to stay so that they can find a test and prove him innocent, and Daisy explains that she got out of her cell because she programmed the security features and insists that S.H.I.E.L.D. can hold them, and is literally asking him to leave S.H.I.E.L.D., and basically we find out in the scene that not only is Daisy the one that betrayed them, but she was in fact brainwashed by Hive. She killed Malik. Hive literally told Daisy to kill Malik, and now Daisy is no longer on S.H.I.E.L.D's side. Now, I do want to point out that this was not Daisy's decision, because a lot of people have gotten this wrong. This was not Daisy's decision. Daisy did not outright decide to just betray S.H.I.E.L.D. That was not something that was on her mind. She basically did this because she was brainwashed by Hive. He got into her head. He exposed her with the Transia when she tried to, basically, when basically he infected her, basically. Now she has the Transia. She's on his side. And she's literally telling Lincoln at this point to betray S.H.I.E.L.D., and that's the best thing to do. And he even says that he's not going to betray S.H.I.E.L.D. or frame him, and says that they're not going to throw, Lincoln away. They're just not going to do that, and that he does, bring things to S.H.I.E.L.D. now, and that he really can be the one to save S.H.I.E.L.D. He not save S.H.I.E.L.D., but he really feels that he plays a vital part in S.H.I.E.L.D., which in many ways he has. I mean, he's been one of the ones to unite the Secret Warriors, and right now they can't trust the Secret Warriors right now, but also they don't know what's going on with Daisy. Daisy ends up gets the spears to the remaining Terrigenesis crystals, and then goes to Zephyr. She concentrates, starts bringing down the base around her, and Coulson goes to the hangar, discovers that Daisy jammed the doors. The base collapses around him while Daisy walks out the tunnel, and just that little reveal, that little sign that Daisy's betrayed them. I mean, Coulson now knows how serious a situation this is. He's obviously terrified, doesn't know what to do here. Knowing that one of his own, someone that's been with him the whole time, has betrayed him is just crazy. And that scene where Gaera is talking to Malik basically says that they need they need to get Hive somewhere safe. Hive tells them that Malik is dead, and says they find Daisy again. And Gaera says that 960 million of Gideon's fortune is available, and Hive says that they should spend it. And basically Hive's now taken over. You can see that Hive's now taken over. He's got everyone under his control, and it's a crazy scene what's going on there. He even says, I believe he says that Lincoln's next. I think it's very interesting the way that was done. Really great stuff, but I could not get over that reveal. It was an incredible episode. The team was just such an intense episode, because it started off like it was going to seem like the episode where they could make things better. Like, it really did seem like things could get better here. But again, this was only episode 17, so you knew that not everything was going to be better, but nothing really to the extent of what ended up happening in this episode, because right away in the next episode, they find out that Daisy was infected, and right away the results show that Daisy was the one infected. But another big thing I forgot to talk about in this episode is what ends up happening between Jemma and Fitz, because we know that Jemma and Fitz, obviously, they've been going through a lot this season. Of course, they had that whole thing in the in that future where they ended up being together and we don't know what's going on here, but they do actually end up kissing in this episode. We see that they kiss and they don't really know what comes out of it. They don't really know they can handle all this, and it's a very interesting scene. We don't really know what's going to come of that, but basically they decide to they kiss each other. They don't have sex, but they do kiss each other, and I thought it was a very good scene. I definitely really did like seeing that. It was very unexpected, but I definitely did like that. And Fitz apologized for pushing too fast. Jemma points out they've been together for 10 years and they can't waste any more time, and she refuses to let them be ripped apart again, and Fitz says that he won't let it, and it really does seem like these two are actually finally together. But then we get to this episode, which we'll get into, but basically, of course, the main thing here is to get Daisy back to S.H.I.E.L.D. They need to find the best way to do that, and Coulson really doesn't know what to do here, because he meets with the team, says that Daisy is Hive's hostage, and there are a lot of things that really are a detriment to the team. I mean, Daisy was the one that was so, we remember, not just that Daisy started off Secret Warriors, and that this was her idea, and that she wanted to do that, but we also remember that she was so good at hacking, and she really was a great hacker for them, and now they don't have as much technology. Now, there's no one who is as tech savvy as Daisy was, and he says that Hive doesn't know how stubborn they are when protecting one of their own. They're going to stop Hive from building an Inhuman army, and Coulson tells everyone to strap in, because now he realizes that Hive does in fact want to get all the Inhumans on his side, that he wants to turn them against Coulson, which I'm pretty sure we already knew, but I feel like this episode outright confirms that's exactly what Hive is trying to do. He's trying to get the Inhumans on his side, and Coulson tells everyone to strap in. They go on the Zephyr, and basically they're going to do whatever they can to try to stop Hive. In the meantime, Daisy's completely on Hive's side. You see that she's under his control, but again, it's all because he brainwashed her. You know, he brainwashed her, he gave her the Transia, and she's infected right now. And Daisy realized the Inhumans know because it has Ward's memories, and it's interesting what we see here, that we find out that Hive does in fact have Ward's memories, and I thought that was very interesting the way we saw that. I really did like finding that out in this episode, including stuff about Will. Like, he even uses Will in this episode, which I thought was very interesting, and just all those memories that he has, you know, it's still Ward's body, so obviously a lot of what Ward went through is still intact, but Hive is the one in there, and Hive has corrupted Ward's body, as we know, and I love what Hive says, that Grant was a thirsty soul, and he suffered for it, and Daisy says the emptiness she always felt is gone around Hive. And, you know, to Daisy, this really is a new change for her. And I don't know if Daisy enjoys this personally, or if this is just that she's infected. But it was a very interesting scene the way this was done. I just can't really tell. Is Daisy completely enjoying this, or is she actually just infected? Because a lot of this I couldn't really tell what was going on there. But Fitzsimmons actually plays a huge role in this. First of all, they decide they want to keep things very platonic and very casual, and that they just want to be partners, and that's all they are. As far as calling themselves Dr. Simmons and Dr. Fitz, I thought was a hilarious scene. I definitely really did enjoy that. But basically, Jemma brings up a file on Dr. Holden Radcliffe, a lead researcher on parasite organisms with the agrochemical lab that they raid, and they believe that he can find a cure to the parasite infection, because obviously their main goal is to try to cure Daisy of this infection, because they know that obviously she's infected. She's not actually wanting to turn against S.H.I.E.L.D., that basically Hive just got to her, and the best thing you need to do is try to find a way to get her a way out of this infection and find a way if there's a cure for that. So we see that Holden wasn't there when Hydra wiped the base clean. He was asked to step down a month before conducting unauthorized experiments, and the doctor is a rumored transhumanist who believes in using science to overcome human limitations, and Radcliffe is rumored to be in Romania, and Coulson tells the scientists that they'll take point and head there with Mac to find the doctor, and that's basically what this is. They go to try to find the doctor and everything, and you can see that Jemma and Fitz, things are kind of rough between them. You don't really know if they're actually going to be together. They're trying to figure out their relationship. Like I said, they're trying to keep things platonic, but you don't really know if that's actually going to work out. They're actually able to keep things platonic here. But we do see that Jemma basically reports that a satellite picked up Radcliffe going into a secret club belongs to transhumanists, and basically, they do end up finding Radcliffe, which I thought was interesting, that they did actually end up finding Radcliffe in this episode. And what ends up happening after they find Radcliffe is, I'll tell you guys in a second what ends up happening. Basically, we see, like I said, there's a lot of tension, romantic tension between Jemma and Fitz in this episode. Like that scene when Jemma entered the club, Fitz assures that she looks nice. You can really tell they're trying to just keep things very casual. They don't want to make things, they don't want to go into a relationship because they don't know how it's going to work out, and especially all they're facing, they just think it's too much drama. And it didn't come across as silly to me. It came across as genuine. These two are really confused with, are they friends? Are they not? I think they know they have this romantic chemistry for each other, but they don't really know if it's a good thing for the team. I mean, mean, Daisy, of course, has left the team. They're not really much of a team. They're a team, but they're a broken team right now, and it's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening with that. Jemma reports that a satellite picked up Radcliffe going into a secret club belongs to transhumanists, and basically they decide to go find Radcliffe, and they do in fact find Radcliffe. We see a woman ask them if they have an appointment with Radcliffe. Matt confirms that she's been heavily modified, and Jemma offers her eye technology. They insist on giving it to Radcliffe in person, and Anon tells them to wait in the bar area and that she'll find them if Radcliffe is interested, and they do eventually find Radcliffe, which I thought was very interesting, and Radcliffe is happy to hear that Inhumans are real, because he didn't know if Inhumans were real, and I like this character of Radcliffe here, because this is a guy that he has a lot of beliefs about Inhumans and things like that, but he didn't actually know if they were real, and he's happy to find out that they're real, and he's gladly to help them. The guards separate Fitz and Jemma, and one of them takes Jemma out. Fitz tells Radcliffe that he has to hear him out, and Fitz offers Radcliffe the portal technology, but he says that he's the only one who can save his friend. Daisy blasts her way in, Alicia comes in behind her, and you can tell right away that, I mean, they really realize what they're facing here. Daisy kicks on out, tells Alicia to get Radcliffe out. She blasts Fitz when he tries to interfere, said that they need to talk, and these scenes between Daisy, I thought were really good. I did feel they were a bit too early, though. I kind of wanted to keep Daisy apart from S.H.I.E.L.D, and that was the one thing that didn't exactly work for me in this episode, is that I didn't like the scenes where they were talking face-to-face with Daisy, because I feel like we should have kept Daisy away from S.H.I.E.L.D for a little bit, and then see how they deal with this. But I understood, obviously, we're on episode 18. We don't have much time left. We need to obviously just let this go. And Daisy pins Fitz to the wall with her powers. Chogium says that she's seen the future. Someone in S.H.I.E.L.D is definitely going to die. We don't know who this is going to be, but this is something that we haven't heard before. Someone's going to die. And Daisy says if Fitz loves Jemma, then he'll leave them alone. And Jemma reminds Hive/Will that Will said that Hive would do anything to fool her. And Hive insists that they don't want her dead. And Hive is basically channeling Will right now, which is very interesting. And Daisy tells Fitz that they'll hurt them if they don't stay away, and the next time she'll snap his neck. She then drops Fitz and walks out, and she basically tells them that, look, someone's gonna die, and this really makes Jemma and Fitz think about their relationship and what they're gonna do. And at first, we see that they start to undress, but Fitz points out that her hands are cold. He says that he'll handle it, and they actually decide to go through with it. I'm pretty sure that they did in fact have sex, which it's been a long time coming, but it seems like something that we've really been building up to. I mean, we've seen them kiss before, we've seen this happen, obviously, but now it seems like they're really trying to deal with a relationship. They're trying to create a genuine relationship, and especially knowing someone is going to die. Someone's days are definitely numbered, and of course they don't know who that is, but knowing someone is going to die obviously scares them, and they need to try to be as careful about this as possible. So basically, at this point, they're not taking any chances. If one of them dies, if something does happen, and they don't know if they're going to die, but if they do die, then at least they'll be able to know that they did actually do this, and that they did actually go through with being together, because they do want to be in a relationship. And I definitely did like that scene. Thought that was really good. And then the end of the episode, pretty much we see they've decided to be together. We see Mac returns to the hotel room, finds Jemma there. She wants to go looking for Fitz, but Mac stops her, and as they wait, Jemma explains what happened. She assures Mac that they'll get Daisy back, and mentions that Fitz thinks that they're cursed, that there really is no way of getting out of it. So Mac has figured out that they're involved, and Jemma says that their relationship is very new. He assures her that it isn't, and we see Coulson and Melinda watch as Talbot's people eliminate Hydra, because Coulson did go to Talbot and asked him if he could do something, because Talbot we know is on his side, and I like that he did have Talbot help him out, because, and that really does make sense why we had that Talbot episode, because it really does show that while Talbot isn't a direct reference to S.H.I.E.L.D, he is there every now and again when they need him, and in this case they did need him, because they didn't really know how to move on from what happened to Daisy, and basically they have this hope that's going to work out. But then, this is when the episode gets really interesting, because Hive and his people meet with Radcliffe. Hive says that Radcliffe has evolved to the closest things that the humans have to the Kree, and he tells Radcliffe that they're one organism seeking change, and that the Doctor's going to help them redefine humanity by recreating the Kree experiment that was done to him. He nods to the town around them, says that he bought it all, and it seems like Radcliffe is not actually going to help them. He's going to help Hive. Hive, I think, is going to brainwash him. I don't know if Hive gave him the Terrigenesis, but I'm pretty sure he's now recruited Radcliffe, and this can't be good. So overall, guys, really great 3 episodes. I definitely really enjoyed it. I do think this was the weakest of the 3, but again, it was more of a transition episode. And like I said, some of those scenes with Daisy didn't exactly work as well for me, but I do like seeing Daisy on the other side. It's interesting to see this darker side of Daisy we haven't seen before. But my big question is, does Daisy actually feel this way, or is it completely the brainwashing? Because there's a part of me that feels maybe it's not completely the brainwashing. Maybe Daisy does want something new. Maybe she does want something fresh. And I think it's very interesting what's going to happen with that. The Secret Warriors, I mean, all season long, we've known the Inhumans have been very corrupted, and I mean, we know everyone thought the Inhumans are very corrupted, and they haven't really trusted them. They've had a very bad rep. is there any way to redeem them? Because obviously I think Daisy's thinking was the Secret Wars, could redeem them and show that they are heroes, but knowing that Hive wants them on his side, I mean, Joey and Elena, are they going to be able to get Joey, to not get Joey and Elena from giving into Hive? I mean, it seems like Hive is just a very easy way of persuading people to, get on his group and recruit them and basically betray S.H.I.E.L.D. It seems like it's very easy to do that. So I don't know if they're going to be able to stop Joey and Elena. We'll have to see what happens there. Who is going to die? We know someone is definitely going to die, and apparently tonight that is what's going to happen, is that someone is going to die on tonight's episode. Now, who it's going to be, I have no idea, but I do think someone's going to die, and that really worries me. I don't know who it's going to be. We'll have to see what happens with that. That's going to be very interesting. And then the only other question I have, I guess, is are they going to be able to save Daisy? Is there really a way to cure her? Or is she going to be like this? I mean, I would hate to say that Daisy's going to die. I don't think Daisy's going to die this season. I don't think she's going to be the one to do die. To do die? That doesn't make sense. To die. If there is one person that's going to die, I think it's going to be Mac or it's going to be Lincoln. Jemma and Fitz, they're going to keep that bond in the show. That's one of the tightest bonds they have. They're going to keep them around. Melinda's not going to die. I could not see the show go on without Melinda. You kind of need 4 central characters. You need Coulson, you need Melinda, you need Fitz, and you need Jemma. They have been there since the beginning. They're not going to kill them off. It's going to be Lincoln or Mac. I could see one of them going along, especially Lincoln. He hasn't exactly been working for me, and I think it would make sense to get rid of him. But overall, guys, how much you guys saw of these 3 episodes. I absolutely love these 3 episodes. I think they were all really well done, especially the team. Incredible episode, and really changed a lot of things this season. But we only have 4 episodes left this season. I don't really know what's going to happen from those 4 episodes, but we'll see. But let me know what you guys saw this episode, and we'll see you guys next week, which will be for tonight's episode of The Flash. And I'm sorry it took me so long to review this, but I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.